Good afternoon to you. It is 12:30 on the middle of your Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us for what is Third Cup, ordinarily Second Cup. Josh Nichols, Ed Dranch here with you. We are doing this both on air, on Channel 7, on your favorite streaming device, and live on Facebook and WKVW.com. We'd love to hear from you. We want to get you caught up with the very latest when it comes to the storm, the response, and what's ahead for you as you're going through your day today and into tomorrow. There are a couple of headlines that we want to get to, a couple of reporters that we want to check in with in very key places, like Eileen Buckley, who is at the Amherst Street Wegmans that just reopened for the first time since late last week before the snow even started.
Popular spot.
Yeah, and there are so many people who are there. Trying to get their groceries, trying to make their way through the line. We'll check in with Eileen in just a couple of seconds. But first, let's get you caught up with the headlines. Let's go through all of the roads that are closed this afternoon. And we can pull up my Twitter. All of that information is there. It seems as if every major road except for Route 5, the 198, and the 33 are back open today. The 190 is closed between the 290 and the 90. Why is that a big deal? The city of Buffalo still has a travel ban. It's the only municipality that still has that travel ban in place. So they have the 190 closed off in the one section that travels through the city of Buffalo. So here you can see that list for yourself. Earlier in the day, Erie County Sheriff's Office had spoken about all of these roads being reopened. There's since been some revision to that. And again, all of these roads, including the 400, the 290, the 90, the 219, are back open this afternoon. Again, the 198, the 33, parts of Route 5, and the 190 between the 90 and 290 are still closed this afternoon. Another big headline coming in from the Erie County Executive, Mark Poloncarz: 100 military police officers from the National Guard are being brought into the city of Buffalo to handle the issues of traffic, people who are violating the travel ban. Why is this an issue? Still this afternoon, there are so many people who are out on the roads who are getting stuck in snowbanks or stuck on roads that simply haven't been plowed. And that's causing issues not only for these plow crews who are trying to get through and clear these streets, but also for the emergency responders who are trying to get to these calls, having to use tracked vehicles to get to the call.
Which goes
once
slower.
they arrive. Exactly, 20, 30 miles an hour as opposed to other cars like an actual ambulance. So that's an issue. Again, the city of Buffalo has a driving ban in effect until further notice. It is the only municipality to have that driving ban in place. That said, there are grocery stores all throughout Erie County that are open, including some of those that are in the city of Buffalo. Finally, the big headline here is if you are looking for your car, there are at least two databases that have been set up if it was towed because of the snowstorm. So the first one is from Erie County. If your car was towed in an area, say like, I'm just going to pull out an area, Amherst. If your car was towed by Amherst, potentially it could have been towed by Erie County. If that is the case, you can go to this Erie County website. It's erie.gov/towed vehicles. And that website will help you find where your car is. There's also a Cheektowaga website that's been set up about finding your car. We've got that link for you as well, and we'll post those links for you in the comment section.
I think it's important to remind everybody why we have this ban, right? I mean, it is so that these emergency vehicles can do their job, so we can save lives.
Exactly.
That might be in danger.
Josh, we've got about 40 seconds here. Can you give us a quick weather forecast, and then we'll go to a quick break on TV and continue the conversation on Second Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, what you expect to find is the last of like flakiness. This is good news. We can finally put this event to bed. We'll have maybe an inch or two in some spots in the most persistent snows. Once you see the final flakes flying around 5, 6 o'clock this evening in Buffalo, that is it for quite a while. well. And then we have a nice warm up to talk about. 51.5 inches of snow. That's your storm total, Buffalo. Remarkable to say the least. A storm that will be remembered for many, many years to come. And look at this. We've got a warm up coming our way. How does 50 degrees sound? It's within reach, I think, by Friday, although it might be accompanied by some showers. So we're going to be watching the potential for maybe some localized flooding issues. I don't think it's going to be a big deal at this point because I think the rain will be light, but it's something that we still have to watch because you're taking that rain and adding it to the snowpack. Feels like 16. This is it. Winter weather advisories, once they expire at 1 o'clock, no more winter weather alerts. But there are areas of lake snow. You can see them there on Doppler, basically through southern Erie County into the south towns. And you can see them there as well into parts of Wyoming County, too. And this is it. Once this band lifts off to the north into Buffalo, which should happen late this afternoon, we will see improvements in our weather. And although it is going to be still chilly with temperatures into the 20s this afternoon. But again, a big rebound coming, and we flirt with 50 by Friday.
That is some good news. And, the best news is that the snow has finally stopped falling. It's kind of disbanding and moving out of our area. Yeah. Josh, thank you so much. Josh is going to hang with me. We're going to answer some more of your questions and check in with Eileen Buckley if you're watching on TV. We're going to take a short break. If you're watching on your favorite streaming device or on WKBW.com, even Facebook Live, we're going to continue the conversation. We'll be right back. Okay. Hello, all you second cuppers. Thank you, or third cuppers. Thanks for being with us. We really appreciate it. So Marquette, see your comment here. My question to Mark about martial law was a good one. Thank you very much. This was my biggest question. When I heard him say that all these military police officers were coming in and they were going to basically help enforce the driving ban, that is all but declaring martial law to me. It doesn't seem as if there is any other option. I mean, they are here to make sure that you are staying off the roads.
It feels like a mixed message.
A little bit. And Josh, it's funny that you bring that up because here we go. I mean, it's kind of like a little bit of a lack of coordination, it starts to seem, because we're starting to see each municipality kind of do its own thing. It's number one, when it comes to, we're not each municipality, each agency do its own thing. Number one, when it comes to the issue on the road closures, there was so much disconnect and a lack of communication, it seemed, between the agencies earlier today about what roads are open, what roads are closed. And each agency is putting out their own messages instead of having one coordinated message. Number two, all of these different agencies and municipalities are putting out their own issued database when it comes to where your car was towed. Why isn't there one coordinated database for people to visit all at once?
It just seems like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. It just
and then well, exactly. And then finally, we had another issue today. The mayor, this is maybe what you don't know, while we had the county executive talking and updating us about the storm, the mayor was also holding a dueling news update. So, where do we go here? Why is there no coordination about the time and place? And why aren't these officials all together giving us an update on the storm?
Yeah, no, these are all great questions. I also question, if you are on some of these roads that, you might need to go on as an essential worker.
Right.
Will you be stopped? Will you be questioned? Will you have to show proof that you are an essential worker?
Josh, we're just coming back from a break here. We'll pause for a second. Station identification. Good afternoon to you once again. If you are watching on Channel 7 or if you're watching on your favorite streaming device, I'm Ed Ranch alongside Josh Nichols. We are doing our third cup right now to keep you updated as we move through day 5 of this storm. We were just talking about, as we continued the Facebook conversation, about the idea that there seems to be a general unraveling or a little bit of a disconnect between some government agencies. And I was just pointing out for those of you who are watching on TV, the different instances. I mentioned that there was a database set up by Erie County and a database set up by Cheektowaga to find your car. That's great. But what if your car was towed in Buffalo? What if your car was towed in Tonawanda? Why is there no central database to get this going? Why is every municipality and every agency doing this on their own? Number two, when it came to the road closures. There were so many different agencies putting out their own message today. There was so much confusion about what roads were actually open, what roads were actually closed. And then finally, for the folks who were watching the Erie County Executive live on TV, what you may not have known is that there was another news update that the mayor was giving. It was a dueling news update that was being done at the same time. So why aren't these officials together, and why aren't they speaking at the same time on a bigger message, in a collective message? Lots of questions here.
Yeah, and who knows if we'll even get them answered.
Right. Well, so today there's a 2:30 tour of the Erie County Emergency Operations Center. We're going to send somebody there and ask those questions for you. Let's check in with 7 News reporter, our senior reporter, Eileen Buckley, who's with us this afternoon. She is live for us on Amherst Street, and she is checking in on the Wegmans there and all the people who've started to come out of the woodwork to try and get some groceries. Eileen, what are you seeing?
Well, Ed, this line at the store actually had started before 10 o'clock, before the store even opened. Now it's gone down quite a bit. It really has changed since we've been here over the time. The line is, if you can still hear me okay, the line is now inside the store area into the lobby. I don't have permission to go in yet, so I've been waiting to hear from Wegmans. But so far, the shoppers have been moving through this line pretty decent at a steady pace. People tell me they are here for those essentials. Remember, Ed, they've been trapped in their houses, many since probably Thursday night. Some, this is the first time they've been able to emerge and buy some stuff. One woman I spoke with said she did all her shopping on Thursday, but she ran out of everything and lost everything because her power went out in the city of Buffalo. So she had to throw out all the items in her refrigerator. So today she was back trying to buy stuff again. So you can imagine the expense alone of just having to replace everything that she lost because she didn't have power for so long. Everybody's telling me they're buying eggs, milk, bread. I noticed even at the top store we were at earlier, the yogurt aisle and the cheese was going down. So people are just trying to buy as much as they can to restock. They're also glad just to be able to be back out. And I think that's really important. A lot of people tell me they, made it safely through this storm, and they're just glad that they're able to get out now. And they're thankful. They're thankful that they can actually walk out to a grocery store and do something normal at this point, considering the magnitude and unfortunately the fatalities we've had in this blizzard.
Well, and that's another good point, Eileen. We've just learned now that 28 people have died in this storm, and that is certainly expected to rise. The official count here is at 28. Eileen, Jim is here with us this morning, or this afternoon rather, and he says that the line isn't so bad. But earlier you were there. What was the line like?
The line went, if you're familiar with the Amherst Wegman store, it went to that along the whole side of the entrance into it. But again, it was moving pretty quickly. And people that were coming out were telling people, you don't have to wait as long. It wasn't that bad as it looked. And it was moving along. They were trying to keep it moving along, of course. And everybody was coming out with a lot of stuff. So I think they're pretty happy with, what happened here.
Do we have any indication about how the stocking is doing? The
I
shelves?
don't in this store yet. I haven't been given the permission to go in. We can't just go in. We have to get permission. I was at the top store on Sheridan Drive in Tonawanda, and they were doing well. Their bread aisle the shelves were getting bare, very close to bare. The eggs, the milk, those were getting bare. But at that particular store, they had just received their egg shipment. And while we were standing there, one of the crews came out and was filling the milk shelves. So some of the stores still have enough in stock, it seems like. So we'll find out too how Wegmans is doing. But people are coming out loaded with stuff, that essential. One woman told me, I need toilet paper. So obviously, those are the important things in life, right? We don't
Yeah,
think about it, but,
Uh,
got to do what you got to do.
no, literally. Eileen, let me ask you a question about the way people are coming and going. Are you seeing people driving in? Because we know that driving ban is still in effect in Buffalo. Are they driving? Are they walking? What's the deal?
It's a little of both. One woman I spoke with, she said that she walked here, but I'll tell you right now, you can take a look at the lot. There's There's cars as always in the
Right.
Wegmans parking lot. It's not as busy as you'd normally see it. There's a lot of spaces up front, but there's plenty of cars. But there are also people that have told me, yeah, we walked here too. So, it's a combination.
So that's very interesting. So here we are in North Buffalo on Amherst Street in Elmwood. We're seeing a full parking lot like we normally would at Wegmans. I mean, it is what it is at this point, right? I mean, they're telling you to stay off the road, but there are also a number of people who are running out of food, right, Eileen? So it's kind of like a catch-22.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and plus the fact that people just want to get out. I think they want to kind of explore and see what they haven't seen with their own eyes. But, in our trip over here from, we traveled all the way from downtown to Tonawanda and then over to here from Tonawanda. And it really wasn't bad as far as driving. I didn't see anybody as far as law enforcement stopping anyone. So again, I think they're trying to let people crawl out slowly, and as long as you're on the main routes. Now, a reminder, the side streets, especially in the city, are hideous. Some of them are blocked. Some of them are, again, still impassable. So, don't think you're going to turn a corner and end up on the side street because you're going to get stuck. There's still a lot of abandoned vehicles. So that part of it, you are taking a chance heading out that you're going to get stuck. But I can see why people are out here trying to stock up again.
All right. Eileen Buckley live for us at the Amherst Street Wegmans. Thank you, Eileen. We appreciate you. Josh, I see a question here from Mark. With the warm weather and when it gets cold again, will we see another snowstorm since the lake is wide open?
Well, there's certainly that possibility when you have warm lake water. And of course, once the cold air supply is replenished, you have the risk for lake effect snow.
Right.
Now, the good news is that winter is taking a break.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, as we head into the latter part of the week and into the weekend, and we might be a while before we actually see some winter weather around these parts.
Interesting. Josh, thank you. And if you're watching on TV on Channel 7, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Kritzia Williams, who's in Cheektowaga, checking in on those car lots right after this. Okay, so we are taking a quick another break. So Carissa sent me a message just now. Hi Ed, Lawson Road Wegmans. The lot is cleaned, beautiful, but is packed in the store. Shelves filled nicely. She says every register is open. I got the long line that wrapped all the way to the back down the aisle, but it was quick. So she's talking about the Wegmans on Lawson Road in Cheektowaga. So there you go. So varying situations. Julie says, awful, driving ban and people are at Wegmans. Well, and so that's the catch-22 that I was talking about. You've got a whole ton of people who are running out of food or who need to go grocery shopping, but there's also a driving ban. So, I mean, what do you do?
So would, Instacart drivers be considered essential workers?
Potentially.
So, does that reduce the number of cars on the road?
Jeff Russo was actually at Wegmans this morning. This is video that he shot. Look at all these people. He said they were letting one in and one out, or one out and one in rather. So this is, it's kind of crazy to see the amount of people who are at the grocery store. Carissa also weighing in here saying roads in Depew are great. Mostly good in Cheektowaga too. Kudos to the men and women who are working hard out there. And the county executive made it a point to say that in northern Cheektowaga, like the Pine Hill, Cleve Hill area, near the airport, where Cheektowaga borders Amherst and Williamsville, you're kind of in a position where the roads are not good. But when you go to southern Cheektowaga near West Seneca, he said the roads are fine. So he said that he would not have advised the town of Cheektowaga to lift that travel ban as early as they did, though nonetheless, the travel ban in Cheektowaga was indeed lifted early last night. For those of you who are watching on Facebook, we're going to pause again for about 10 seconds or so, and we are going to bring in Kritzia Williams in just a couple of seconds. Okay, welcome back to second or third cup, depending on how many cups you like to have in a day. We are live on Channel 7 and live on Facebook as well, giving you an update about the storm and its response. Just getting some breaking details coming in this afternoon that because of the resources available to maintain the store operation on Amherst Street, talking about the Amherst Street Wegmans, where Eileen Buckley just was, the store itself is going to close at 7 o'clock tonight. All Erie and Niagara County Wegmans stores are closing at 8 p.m., except for that one at 601 Amherst Street. That's the one where Eileen Buckley is. It's on the corner of, in between Elmwood and Grant. So that store is going to close a little bit earlier than others are. Janine, good afternoon to you. She says, are the 290 and the 990 open? The answer is yes. The only roads that are closed right now are Route 5, the 198, the 33, and the 190 between the 290 and the 90.
So if you were to try to get out of Buffalo,
side streets,
and then you try to get back into Buffalo,
side streets,
which are impassable pretty much.
Well, I mean, you can get to like some main routes, probably like through Broadway, through Clinton, all of those like exterior main roads along the hospital routes, I think, are pretty much clear, at least with one lane. Let's bring in Kritzia Williams. Oh, any update on the airport? Glenn says, at this point, no, it's still set to open tomorrow morning at 11. We're going to keep an eye on that for you, though, because this is kind of the time of day where they start to change things. But we are waiting to hear from that. Oh, Kritzia apparently can't hear me, is what I'm being told. So, well, let's bring her in, see what she has to say. Kritzia.
Hi, Ed. Hi, Josh. I am out here at Cheektowaga Town Park. Now, excuse me. Now, car cleanup has officially begun. I'm actually going to show you the lot that I'm at right now. Hopefully, you can still hear me. Now, I spoke with some people that have already started to come and gather a car. They tell me that they've seen these tags right here, like on this car. They're tagging the cars right here. They're going to tow them, and they're going to bring them to one of 3 lots. I'm standing at one of the 3 right now. Now, after speaking with the police, receiving some information from them, they tell me they've got around 250 cars per se. They also tell me if you're trying and you're looking for your car, you can go to the website that Ed was talking about a little bit earlier, but you can also call them and they will ask for your license plate. You just have to come with your keys. And people are still having to shovel out the car. Again, look at this car right here. There's still snow on them, even though they're being brought here. There's still kind of a lot going on. But again, this is one of 3 spots that you can head to at Cheektowaga Town Park. It's going to be right around this loop. You'll run into each of them going from this one right here. And this one is just off of Harlem Road, right off the light, Ed.
All right, Kritzia Williams for us. Kritzia, thank you. Jenny, good afternoon to you. I see your comment. I said the only closed municipality is Buffalo. What about Lackawanna? The Lackawanna driving ban has been lifted, so there's a travel advisory in place. And even though all these travel bans were lifted, and really the only place that has a travel ban is the city of Buffalo, that doesn't mean that you should be out on the roads going for joyrides or checking things out. Roads could still be hazardous in many places, and even in Cheektowaga, for example, some of those roads are impassable still this afternoon.
Right, and the good news is that when you do head out and about, the weather is going to be cooperative for you, and it's going to be cooperative for the snow removal efforts. Although we were talking to Michael Schwartz earlier today, there is that layer of ice underneath the snow. So, if you do have, an elderly parent or relative, and that they're going to just try to maybe head out of the house and maybe just go for a walk, get some air, that kind of thing. Please advise them that they really need to be super careful underfoot, because that layer of ice will sneak up on you and you don't want to break a hip.
We're going to take another quick break and finish up with one last look at Josh's forecast on the other side of this. We'll be right back. Okay, so for all the cuppies who are still here, we should let you know that we do Second Cup every morning at 8 o'clock right here on Channel 7. It broadcasts live on your favorite streaming device, on Facebook Live. and on WKBW.com. We want to see you join our Cuppy ranks, is what we call them. Our loyal viewers. We love interacting with you guys. We love hearing your stories, and we love when we can become part of your family and you part of ours. Linda says, when will plows come here in Lackawanna? They're talking. We're going to have about a minute when we come back, Josh, and we'll have your last forecast. This is a Second Cup bonus show, right? Melly says South Buffalo looking crappy. Linda wondering when plows are going to come here in Cheektowaga. That's a great question. And it seems like they're still working through all of those side streets, though some of them are passable enough so that they can have you drive on them because that travel ban has been lifted. Jim says, I want a flamethrower already. I know. It's kind of like that moment where you're done with the snow. You're done with staying home.
51 and a half inches of snow is enough for anybody to cry uncle.
Right. Richard said South Buffalo is a war zone. Lisa says, when can we use the thruway and come to visit family? The thruway is open, except for the 190 between the 290 and the 90. Stephanie says, Cheektowaga off of Genesee and Harlem, haven't seen any plows either. It's chest high. Right, and that's what they're saying. Some places in Cheektowaga are passable. Some places aren't. It's kind of hit or miss. The county executive was actually really pointed in what he said about how he would not have advised the town of Cheektowaga to lift the travel ban when they did.
And they said the 190 is
Closed between the 90 and the 290.
Okay.
So that's basically the stretch of the 190 between that runs through the city of Buffalo.
Right. So in other words, if you wanted to get out of Buffalo, you could not get on the Skyway.
Correct.
To get to the thruway.
Right.
You'd have to find another way to get to the thruway.
Correct.
Which is what? Because the 33 is closed as well. So I'm trying to think about this in my head. That doesn't work. That 190 doesn't work. Where are you doing? Where are you going?
Here we go. All right, everyone. We've got one last check of Josh's forecast for the rest of the day. Josh, what are we looking at?
Well, we're looking at the last of the lake effect. This is great news after so many hours, after 51 and a half inches of snow, after such a protracted stretch of ferocious winds, bitter, cold, double-digit sub-zero wind chills, whiteouts. It's done. It's done. It's over with. The flakes fade. And we're talking about temperatures into the 20s. The last of the lake effect leaves us with maybe a coating to an inch or two, and that's it.
All right. Well, we'll continue following this for you throughout the day and on WKBW.com. Stay with us for 7 News at 5 and 6. We're back with you tomorrow morning starting at 4:30, and Second Cup airs every single morning at 8 o'clock on Facebook Live, WKBW.com, and your favorite streaming device. Have a great day, everyone.
So long.